All right, so what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, man. It's your boy, and the time has finally come. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, after like a week of waiting and wondering when we're gonna get our first sneak peek of the next update, it's time. And as you can see, it is going to be a Hawkeye update. Super excited about this one because Hawkeye is one of my favorite Avengers, and he is the last Avenger to get a tier 3. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, he's the only OG Avenger in the game currently that does not have a tier 3. So I am super excited about this. And as you can see, he's going back to his roots. The bow and arrow, they're coming back. We're gonna have to say a farewell to the Ronin uniform. Love this uniform. The aesthetic is amazing. One of my favorite uniforms to this day. And it did transform him quite a bit compared to his previous uniforms that did pretty much nothing for the character. I am sad to see this one go because I'm very much so fond of it. I've always loved the look of the Ronin uniform from the very beginning, and when he got it, he was actually very good. So I'm going to be sad to say goodbye to this one, but I am very much so excited to see how much they change him this time around. In addition to this brand new uniform, it seems as though he is going to be getting a tier 3 from the fact that they're wrapping it up and making it super obvious here, serving it to you with a bow and everything. 3 arrows and we got a bow. Come on now. You know Hawkeye is getting a tier 3. It goes without saying. It's his update, okay? In addition to that, we're also getting Kate Bishop, or at least we're getting a new uniform for Kate Bishop since she's already in the game. I'm very much so looking forward to this because when Kate Bishop came to the game, she was actually the best Hawkeye. Base Kit Hawkeye and any of his previous uniforms, they were pretty much trash. Once upon a time, she was ABX meta, so I'm very much so looking forward to see how they make her good again. Especially considering we already have another female that uses a bow and arrow, and she's kind of good. In case you guys forgot, Katie is in the game. She buffed Shang-Chi, so we might see something similar for her. In addition to that, I think we can kind of draw a couple conclusions from Kate Bishop and Hawkeye coming now in regards to what happened to Echo. But before we do that, let me jump over on Twitter really quickly here and show you what they had to say. Over on Twitter, this is the message we got from the Future Fight team. It reads, Clint Barton just wanted to return to his family, but his past has come back in a way he could have never anticipated. Hawkeye, inspired by Marvel Studios' Hawkeye, hits his mark in Marvel Future Fight's V790 update. Now, as of me recording this video, they actually haven't updated the forms yet to include the Hawkeye sneak peek. So we don't know what they're going to say over there, but we've already seen enough from the trailer and this post to let us know that Hawkeye is going to be a major player in this upcoming update. And I am very much so looking forward to it because the last time they gave him a uniform, they overhauled him drastically, not just visually, but in terms of his skills and his passive effects. They took him from being at the absolute bottom of the game to being one of the better, if not one of the best characters in the game at that moment in time. He went from having no protection, no damage, to having an attack buff, penetration, and back in those days having paralysis, even though it was 1.7 seconds. Trust me, that was a big deal, and it was a long iframe. He was super proc friendly. They gave him crit rate, dodge, and then gave him guaranteed dodge and guaranteed crit rate. That was a massive buff back in those days. And to be honest, even today, guaranteed dodge and guaranteed crit rate is a pretty big deal. The only thing that I would change in his passives personally is I would say maybe the dodge here. They should change to like ignore dodge, make it like 35% ignore dodge, and then they could keep the rest of his passive exactly how it is, right? And then they could give Kate Bishop a leadership that buffs Hawkeye, just like how Katie actually buffs Shang-Chi. We'll get to Kate Bishop in a second, but I just want to remind you guys what Katie does, because I believe they could do something similar for Kate Bishop. That 60% attack buff when she's leading Shang-Chi is actually a pretty big deal. But let's get back to Hawkeye. Even his uniform bonus back in those days, getting crit damage was actually a pretty big deal because that was before reforged CTPs and crafted cards to get additional stats, right? So yeah, his uniform back in those days, pretty good. I would say in today's meta, he needs a heal and he needs damage accumulation, or he needs several buffs that are stackable, kind of like how I'll show you guys, kind of like how Silk is really good because she has guaranteed crit, but she also has a bunch of buffs that you can stack to get big damage, like extra damage for 2 attacks and stuff. Hey, that actually makes a big deal. And then the guaranteed crit rate also makes a pretty big deal. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they change Hawkeye this time around, make him a unique but also a very powerful bow user, because we don't have anyone that's really powerful that uses a bow and arrow, right? Katie is good for being a tier 2 character, but we've never seen a tier 3/transcended character that relies solely on a bow and arrow to do work. So I'm hoping that this time around Hawkeye gets a massive upgrade just like he did last time, and this hopefully allows him to keep up with some of the best characters in the game. I'm looking forward to doing a comparison between him and Captain America, you know, the first Avenger and the last Avenger, because he's the last Avenger to get a tier 3 and Captain America is generally the first Avenger to get anything, or the one of the first characters to get anything, right? So I'm looking forward to doing some experimentations there. Now let's talk about Kate Bishop. Like I said before, a leadership for Hawkeye, or maybe, you know, fellow Avengers would be nice. But besides that, I'm looking forward to seeing how they make her unique and completely different than Katie, because I don't need another copy paste. Besides that, Kate Bishop being a part of this update with Hawkeye kind of tells us what many of us were wondering. Why did they release Echo randomly out of nowhere and not give her a tier 3 or an awakened skill? I think the reason why they did that is because Kate Bishop and Echo are actually going to be sharing an awakened skill. I honestly think that is going to be the case. We're going to get a 2-character awakened skill, and the reason why Echo did not get her awakened skill before now is because it would have spoiled the upcoming update. So these guys at Netmarble and the Marvel Future Fight team, they know what they're doing. They didn't just release Echo early and then have no plans to give her anything. I think this is what they're going to be doing. If I'm wrong, then they're stupid, because they're missing an opportunity to make money. And trust me, this game doesn't make that much money, so they should not be skipping over opportunities to make money. Okay, so I think the reason why they didn't give her her 6th skill is because it's tied into Kate Bishop. And if they had given Echo her 6th skill ahead of time, we would have seen Kate Bishop in Echo's awakened skill and possibly in her new uniform at that, and then that would have spoiled the update. So that's what I think is going on there. Hopefully I'm right and we are getting a awakened skill that is shared by Echo and Kate Bishop. In addition to that, since we're getting Hawkeye and Kate Bishop, it seems as though this check-in event that is going on right now might actually be telling us everything that we want to know. For example, as you can see right here, the 2nd week of this check-in event, you get a free 6-star Hawkeye. And guess who's getting a tier 3 and a new uniform next week? Hawkeye. So mid-month, we could be seeing a tier 3 and a new uniform for Green Goblin, like many of us hoped for in December and in January to go along with Spider-Man No Way Home. Obviously with Kate Bishop here, that tells us again that she's probably going to get an awakened skill, but we've already seen her uniform, so we know she's getting that at the very least. But after Green Goblin, we're more than likely going to be getting an awakened skill for Sandman and a new uniform along with Lizard. Probably Sandman and Lizard going to be sharing an awakened skill, and then they're more than likely going to put the 3rd character as Electro. Notice they didn't put another character here, so more than likely Sandman, Lizard, and Electro, they're probably going to be sharing some type of awakened skill for the mid-month. So I would say, guys, spend your resources wisely, because tier 3 Hawkeye, more than likely day 1 of the update, and then 2 weeks later, probably a tier 3 for Green Goblin, alongside the rest of the Sinister Six getting awakened skills. And then these girls are probably going to be getting awakened skill day 1 alongside Hawkeye. That's my speculation right now. I was bouncing ideas back and forth with the homie John in the chat, and it seems feasible that this is what they're going to do. And this is how they're going to tie us over with characters and content until the Multiverse of Madness anniversary update, because I do think that's what they're going to be doing. Right, they're gonna be bringing in new uniforms for Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, and hopefully a new giant boss raid or something crazy like that to make the anniversary even better than it's ever been. So ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna wrap up the video here. Thank you so much for watching. Leave me your thoughts in the comments. Are you excited to see Hawkeye at the top of the game alongside Kate Bishop and hopefully an awakened skill for Echo, because Echo is actually a pretty powerful tier 2 character, so I'm looking forward to seeing how she performs when she's transcended, because I already got her gear 25. Again, I'm gonna tell you guys, don't overinvest in Kate Bishop and Hawkeye just yet. Let the whales and the YouTubers do their stuff when the update drops, and then see how good they are and see what they're good at, and then take that information and decide if that is good enough for you to build these characters. With that being said, I'm gonna wrap the video here. Thank you so much for watching. Hope the info was useful, and I will catch you guys in the next one.